What a world, DJ on the Mac. What coming in with some sweet old BT21 card reveals right now, because I mean it's dropping literally in 2 weeks and the hype is real. People are excited for this, and I thought I might as well drop a video covering over the red cards that we're going to be getting in this set and give you my overall kind of quick thoughts and opinions of these cards. So if this is the video for you, then stick around and enjoy. If you're new to the channel like what you see, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell, because I do videos on the reg for real. So let's dive into the red cards. As we can see, and I feel like red has got some pretty good solid cards, and majority of this set is quite heavy on the red front. I was like, damn Bandai, you know, you wanna I don't know, fill out the rest of the rainbow that you got going on. Like it's literally swamped with red, especially on the Tamer front. But let's go over just the kind of the eggs that we're going to be getting over in BT21. So the two are going to be your Digimon and obviously your Gurimon. So Gurimon's going to be supporting the Gamamon line, and your Digimon is going to be supporting the new Liberator deck, which is Medusamon, which has definitely got some hype around it. And I think Digimon is really a strong egg for the archetype, because it means that you can effectively evo for a reduced cost by 1 when the opponent's security is removed from, which is really solid. Granted, it is on your turn, so not all turn shenanigans, but regardless, the main gimmick of this deck is making sure that you're doing a check and then you can trigger a sequence of effects in order for you to get that maximum value right there, which is always winning. So I really do like the Digimon egg. Obviously the Gurimon egg right here is your standard kind of when attacking. If this one has Gammon in name or hero in trait, it does draw 1, so it is a good option for your hero based decks there as well. But Gamamon, I mean, I feel like it already kind of had an egg similar to this. I think it might have been when one of the Digimon kind of got tucked underneath, it draws 1. I think that might still be the better option for this archetype, instead of kind of dedicating to an attack, because if you're going in for an attack, realistically, you know, you're open to a whole lot of, you know, potential ace plays by the opponent, which could potentially lose your stack, being the thing. So I still feel like the other Gurimon that we got from the reprint set is probably more stronger than this. But if you are leaning towards like a hero style deck, then I think this is definitely going to be probably best in slot right there. Then we go over to the rookies. So we've got a plethora of rookies right here. I'm going to go over some kind of light ones here. So Agumon's quite good in order for you to essentially, you know, get your Dragonkin or Reptile Digimon from trash to your hand when you play this out, which is always great. 2000 DP, always welcomed right there as an inheritable, and that is literally just this Digimon, which is great. We do have Elizamon. Elizamon is the new Liberator rookie for red, and this is Owen's partner, which is really solid search as you expect from any form of Liberator deck. And the inheritable is that when the opponent's security stack is removed from, gain the memory, which is going to be good for in order for you to kind of facilitate those plays and obviously combo off. Then we do have the Gatchmon, which all art looks absolutely cute right here. Very solid in terms of what it's doing for the deck, because once you know you get a nice little link action going on, which is the whole mechanic of Ampmons, is that if you have 1 or fewer Tamers, you're able to play a Haru from hand without paying the cost, which is great to have on a level 3 right there. So effectively, if this manages to survive on board for the next turn, effectively you can get 2 Digimon out, which is always great. And then its actual link effect right here is that it grants that Digimon raid, which is really handy. Obviously you got to pay the cost of 1 and obviously link underneath an Ampmon, which is always welcome right there. So really solid level 3 alternate art, really cute. I do love how it's got the essentially the other rookies there that you can see. Vmon, you can see it looks like you can see Dracmon, you got Agumon, Patamon with the wing from the looks of it. Obviously really cool stuff. Or maybe it might be Gilmon. It might be Gilmon. That would make more sense. Then we do have the new Gamamon, which is once again quite interesting because it enables you to effectively warp while you have 2 or fewer security cards, or 3 or more hero trait Tamers with different names, which is pretty sick. Having a nice kind of warp mechanic is okay. Inheritable, 2000 DP, always solid right there. So we can't complain on that one. So we do have a new Shoutmon, and with this Shoutmon, I am a little bit kind of confused in terms of, I like what it's doing, but at the same time, like, having that hero trait in, for the actual cross heart archetype, yeah, it's okay, but most likely the hero bit like doesn't really make much of a difference in terms of what you're doing, because the inheritable doesn't really give you any benefit at all unless you're going into a cross-hearted traded Digimon, which most likely you kind of already gotta go in because you're going to use this Digimon in that archetype anyway. I just don't think you'd personally use this in a hero-based deck. That's what I'm trying to get across. But for actual cross art, it's solid, but I just don't know if you kind of would use it. I think that reduced evo cost is huge. I think that always goes a long way right there. So yeah, can't really complain on that front. And then we go into essentially the new red hybrid stuff. So red hybrid stuff looks really interesting, and I'm kind of keen to actually kind of build this next set, just because I already have the the existing cards. It's always been kind of like my pet deck, and I kind of dropped it after the Ultimate Cup that I participated in quite a while ago. But this might be the set where I might bring out the old Emperor Grey, see what goes, especially since we've had the restriction from the promo. Agunimon, Emperor Grey is looking pretty solid on and could do a lot of things. It was a very solid deck before the hit. So with this, it does have a main. By suspending this Digimon, you may play one red Tamer card with an inherent effect from your hand without paying the cost, which is huge. It's massively huge right there. You can do this at any point as long as it's on your turn. And then place this card underneath that Tamer, which is then giving you that nice secured 2000 DP when you evo on top of that Tamer, because obviously you've got that juicy inheritable right there, which is really good tempo right there. Absolutely solid, because we've got a lot of previous support which actually we're able to get Tamers out efficiently, as well as play Digimon when they're deleted, suspended, and so forth. So yeah, I'm feeling that very powerful for a common, let's just say. Then we go to level 4s. We do have the Agunimon. So this Agunimon, I mean, the artwork looks freaking clean. Absolutely nice. Absolutely nice right there. So this can evo on top of a Burning Greymon for cost of 0, which is great. Or evo on top of a Tamer, or level 3 for the cost of 2, which is solid. And it also has the when Digivolving, when you may place one hybrid or hero trait Digimon card from your hand or trash as this Digimon's bottom dilution card, or under one of your Tamers with inherents, which is very strong. You are literally just setting up your board state without really much disruption. It's just adding that further tempo, which is banging. That's what I'm here for. You just having one attacking. This Digimon may dissolve into a red hybrid or hero traded card in hand for the dilution cost reduced by 1. So this is pretty solid if you wanted to, incorporate this into a hero specific deck, because the inheritable is actually quite generic. It's not archetype locked, it's just Digimon gains 2000 DP, which is great. But obviously for us using red hybrid, this is very powerful, because realistically you kind of got to go into your Aldemon, and Aldemon also has a reduction cost there as well, which effectively means that you're going to go into Aldemon for the cost of 1 being the thing instead of 2. So let's go over to then the Burning Grey, which Burning Grey is pretty solid right here. Evo for free on top of a level 3, or Tamer for a free cost, but Evo on top of a Agunimon for the cost of 1. When Digivolving, this Digimon gains piercing and 3000 DP for the turn, which is great. I love this Digimon. And then your turn, when one of your opponent's security stack is removed from, this Digimon may Digivolve into a level 5 Digimon card with hybrid in trait from in the hand with the dilution cost reduced by 1. Once again, kind of facilitating a different way of how this effect kind of triggers off. We have a kind of like a when attacking when it's doing it slightly before, which effectively you could obviously attack with the Agunimon, evo into this, and then when you checked the opponent's security, evo into the Aldemon, then the Aldemon's got an additional security attack on top of that, which will apply. So then you've essentially done 2 checks in mid-swing with an additional DP buff on top of that. 2 DP buffs. in reality, which is huge. Then we do have the Cyclomon. I've already touched over this. Obviously, it does have a security effect, which is great. Managed to play itself, which is always good. It does have an on-play when digivolving. This Digimon, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less, which is great because when you are using the Medusomon, effectively you could delete one of the tokens. You'll love to see it, and also you could just further disrupt their board right there and put you in an awesome position. Also, the inevitable, nice and generic, 2000 DP gain. Then we go over to the Shoutmon King version, which effectively you could use the previous Shoutmon to evo into this Shoutmon for a reduced cost right there. Which is fine, even for the cost of one is pretty solid. It does have raid and piercing, which is nice, and then it does have an on-deletion. You may place one Digimon card with a cross heart, blue flare, or hero trait from your hand or trash under any of your Tamers, then save, which is pretty nice. It adds that nice further bit of tempo, always solid. And then it is also classed as Shoutmon, and you can also cross into this if you want to. Then gloriously, we do have a nice generic gain 2000 DP, which is always welcomed. Then we got freaking hell, like I say, we got quite a few level 4s. I didn't realize. Dimetromon, absolutely great for the archetype. Able to get your Tamer establishment, which is good. Inheritable, nice memory gain once you procced a card from the opponent's security, which is always good. We've got Dot Gacha, which has rush and raid, very powerful keywords right there, which we love to see. And then when this Digimon gets linked, it may attack, which is pretty solid because obviously we do have the rush mechanic there, so it can pretty much, if it happens to be played out at the same time, we can get that rush, which is going to be very welcomed if you do some serious damage. And then it does have a when linking, this Digimon may attack, so kind of adds a nice little bit of a pseudo blitz kind of thing right there with additional 3000 DP to your Appmon, which is going to be very, very nice right there. It does have an app fusion as well, and I think that's the whole mechanic of the app. Line is the app fusion, get that free value, it's 0 cost, which is once again really good. And the app fusion with this is Gatchmon, Navimon, and Tweetmon. Really cool. I think Appmons might be crazy next set, but who knows. Then we go to Betelgeumamon. So once again, Tamer establishment is always key, especially for this kind of deck. It does require you to have quite a few heroes out in order for you to kind of, suspend, get your draws and so forth, get your tucks and all that jazz. So this is just a nice little welcome addition right here. Artwork looks beautiful. I really do love this. It's just Digimon just got a way of just telling a story through the freaking artwork. I swear to God. So now let's go to the level 5s. This is what we were talking about with Aldamon. I think this Aldamon's actually very strong in terms of you having that nice kind of aggression. It's kind of like the pseudo warp mechanic that obviously Ancient Grey was doing, but you're kind of going more towards this Digimon. And then you possibly could go into your Emperor Grey. But in order for you to effectively have that additional security attack, which will apply because you're already swinging, and the effect is when its opponent's security is removed, you evo into this Digimon, which natively just has the security attack +1, then the attack's not ended. So you're still actually checking. So this is where it all kind of would apply another swing right here. It's similar to how Valkyrimon's effect works. So if you swing with Valkyrimon Ace, and you don't manage to delete anything, this Digimon gains an additional security attack, and then you do another check. There we go. Hopefully that made sense. So then it does have an on-deletion that you may play one Red Tamer card with an inherit effect from your hand without paying hand or trash without paying the cost, which is always welcome right here. It does have an on-deletion effect, which you may play one Red Tamer card with an inherit effect from your hand or trash without paying the cost, which is actually pretty solid. It means that we've near enough got a full line, which you can just play a book ton of Tamers. Which is kind of scary, especially with a freaking Atomic Inferno. We already know that card is cracked. So I'm kind of getting a little bit excited for Red Hybrid. I think it's got some legs. We go to Omni Shoutmon here. So Omni Shout, and from like you watching this video, you probably know which decks I'm quite experienced with and which decks I ain't. So obviously in the comments, just people who are watching this and really kind of know the decks inside out, drop a comment if I've got anything wrong, and just obviously educate the fellow people who do watch this video. But we do have the Omni Shout here, and Omni Shout, I feel like in most Crossheart decks, Omni Shout's not necessarily the card you try to aim for, but the inherent is very solid in terms of you getting that rush. I think the main thing with Crossheart is rush being the thing, because you're crossing, you want to get that aggression off right there, which is the main thing. It does have an end of attack where you may play one card with Crossheart, Blue Flare, or Hero trait card from your hand without paying the cost, with its cost reduced by 5. If you did, delete this Digimon. So it does give you kind of a way to kind of recycle some cards right there, because it is from hand, being the thing. And I'm trying to think if from this point, can you declare a cross on that there as well? I'm thinking, like, because if you're playing it, you effectively, it's only reduced by 5. That's probably because you reduce it by 5. You can't necessarily then do a cross. Drop it in the comments if I completely got that wrong. But on deletion, you may place one Digimon card with Crossheart or Blue Flare trait from the hand or trash under one of your Tamers, then save, which is nice. Like, you want to be saving, you want to get that resource in order for you to cross and then get that inheritable, which is obviously going to be giving you rush, which is once again pivotal. So Canon Weezmon, once again, artwork's banging. It does Evo for the cost of 3 on top of a level 4. And simply same with the actual kind of the black box text out there. But when Digimon, it also has a non-play by placing one Digimon card with Gammamon in its text from your hand as its bottom Digivolution cards. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 7,000 DP or less, which is not bad deletion out there. That is deleting pretty much all champions and some of the lower level 5 or lower DP level 5s, which is good. It's absolutely solid. Does have null turns that effectively every Digimon with Gammon is text underneath this. Oh no, hold on, pause. That's not what that says at all. When this Digimon with Gammon in his text would leave the battle area, your opponent's effects by trashing 3 Digimon cards from its Digivolution cards. This doesn't leave, which is solid. I think in this we fall into that kind of Digimon age where protection is key. Like, you don't want to lose a freaking stack. You lose a stack, you die. So having a way to effectively negate or prevent that is solid right there. It is an alternate, it is a once per turn, but if you can somehow manage to get 2 of these underneath, at least then you can kind of, you know, have 2 layers of protection right there, which is solid. And I think Gammon has good ways of kind of protecting itself with even the Pokemon there as well, which is nice. We do love it. Then going into the Globe one, and this all art hit so nice. Looks freaking stunning. Once again, Tanami Kanji just knocks it out of the park once more. This is kind of like your top end, like the probably the Digimon that's going to be doing the damage. Going to be doing the damage early on, and then you might have to lean into more Gaimon later on. But I feel like this card is actually very strong in terms of what it's doing. It's got my favorite keyword, where security tap +1. You already know how it is. It does have a non-play when Digivolving. You may link one level 4 or lower Digimon card from your hand or this Digimon's Digivolution cards to this Digimon without paying the cost. Which once again, got quite a plethora of link effects, which can really help out depending on obviously the opponent's board state. It does have a your turn once per turn. When this Digimon gets linked, delete the opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. Which, with the inheritance that they gain, you're most likely going to be deleting a body. You are going to be deleting a body for real. Then if you was going to use this as a form of link kind of spice, you will be able to delete opponent's Digimon with as much or less as this Digimon, which once again, depending on the scenario, depending on the Digimon you're trying to delete, really comes up quite nicely right there. So I feel like this is definitely a cool Digimon to have. The more I'm looking into the Atmons, I'm like, I could really get on with this deck, but money talks, and my money is muted right now. But let's go to Digimon. I think I've already talked this over with the kind of Medusumon video that I previously did, but this is pretty solid enough for you to kind of trigger your effects right there without actually engaging with the opponent by attacking, which is solid. The condition's fairly easy to actually proc off as well, if your opponent has 5 or fewer. Unless you have a very significant security control that's going to ram that up. That's certainly going to pop off every time, without a doubt. And then the inheritable additional 4,000 DP. That's where it's at. Big damage. Lamaimon, already spoke about this as well. I think this is a very solid level 5 for the archetype. Has progress, and progress is just absolutely ignorant. They don't care what your opponent's going to be doing. It's protected from all of that, which is great. But it does have your turn as well. When any of your reptile or dragonkin trait Digimon attacks change, trash your opponent's top security card, which is rather interesting in terms of how that actually interacts. Because effectively, you could have an opponent that actually tries to block you. You trash the opponent's security effect, and then your effects go off. So before the actual battle commences, you could go into Medusumon, and they're like, "Oh snap, I'm deleted." Whereas when Digimon effect, delete the highest play cost, which the highest DP Digimon, I think Medusumon is. Well, I'm sure we'll definitely find out. But the whole sequencing of that is rather interesting. I do like how it kind of covers that area, because effectively you could be gaining memory on top of that as well, because the opponent's security has been removed. It's nutty what this card can be doing. Absolutely scary. Inevitable is also banging as well. We do have the new War Grey, which this War Grey is kind of spicy. It's kind of spicy, guys, because you do have Rush, Raid, and Blocker, which is beautiful right there. You can reduce the play cost depending on how many opponents Digimon's on field, which is great. And it has an all turns. When any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, this Digimon may unsuspend, so we can block twice, which is always welcome right there. We had the Shoutmon DX up in it, or D-Cross, however you want to do it. Don't really know too much about this card. In all honesty, I don't know if it's good or bad. Drop a comment in the box. You can't actually evo into it, but you have to digivolve on top of a Z Greymon for the cost of 2, or a level 5 with Crossheart in trait for the cost of 3. So basically, you can't use this in any other archetype other than Cross and maybe possibly Blue Flare. So it does gain additional security attack +1, always my favorite keyword. On play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. Love to see it. When this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may place up to 4 Crossheart or Blue Flare trait Digimon cards from its Digivolution cards under one of your Tamers. So pretty good ways to kind of recycle back, get another Cross, have the Rush, pretty much Cross for free on top of that as well. I see the vision. I do see the vision right there. Serious Mom. So this boy right here, even for the cost of 4, or the signature black box, which really makes me happy. There's like, you can evo this for the cost of 3, which is great. Security attack and also raid, which is fantastic, because I definitely swear this archetype has a way to get itself piercing. But when digivolving and when attacking, not once per turn, by placing one Digimon card with Gammamon in text or hero trait from your hand as this Digimon's bottom dilution card, delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. So if you've just got one Digimon, boom, that's just going to pop that out. So technically, you can be popping twice, which is hella nice right there. And also getting cards underneath, because like I say, the main thing with Gammon is getting quite a few sources underneath, especially for you to kind of have that nice glorious protection. And on top of that, just having an absolute freaking keyword soup underneath your stack there as well. So let's go over to Medusumon here, because obviously I did mention about the kind of the spicy tech in terms of if it was going to be blocked, you could evo into this. It is the when digivolving effect is that you may delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. So if that Digimon is the only Digimon that it had out and it was trying to block you, you delete it and you would still proceed with the attack right there, which is great. And then the all turns is that when one of your opponent's Digimon are deleted or their security stack is removed, you may play one petrified token. Then that petrified token is classed as a white Digimon with 3000 DP. With your turn, this Digimon can't suspend, and on deletion, trash top card of, well, trash the top security card, which is once again solid. Oh, we're banging, design banging, red be banging right there. And then lastly, we go over to the Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior mode. So yeah, naturally you can't evo into this outside of archetype, but you can evo on top of a level 6 with hero trait for the cost of 5 being the thing. So if you wanted to kind of fully lean, I think you would have to, you can't evo, it's weird. Basically only the hero traded cross support can get into this from what I'm seeing here, or you can cross into it, as you can see with the requirements. But on playing when Digivolving, try to top 10 stacked cards off one of your opponent's Digimon cards. Sheesh, we love a Digivolve in reverse, which is weird. But then when attacking, you may return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digimon. What? You may return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. Oh, to the bottom. Right, okay, right, cool. At first, I don't know why I thought I read that as like he can just return to the field. I was like, that's a shit effect, but no, it's just me not being able to read. So yeah, this, would you run it? I mean, 17,000 DP is that the new high? Is that actually the new high? Drop a comment in the box if it is, because yeah, I swear blind, that's definitely, I've never not seen this one with more than 17,000 DP. But I think like I've just never really seen a deck run the superior mode, or if they have, it's like a one-off, which is never their top choice. Like, oh my god, if I only had the one-off freaking superior mode, I would have had the game. Like, I've never heard a freaking cross player say that throughout my time with Digimon. But there we go for the red level, well, the red Digimon right here, which are solid. I think, yeah, red's kind of eating pretty nicely. I think I'll probably have to do the Tamers in another kind of wave. I might just have to just do them all right there. But overall, I think red Digimon are solid. I think actually red hybrid is looking pretty spicy. Like, actually reading the cards, I'm feeling what they're doing. And we obviously have a new promo Emperor, which is kind of interesting in terms of what it can be doing. You know what? I think I'm gonna do some spoilers. I'm gonna see if we can actually find that new Emperor Grey, because I want to see if it actually like works with the new support being the thing. So let's have like badges here. So it is a tricolor. Evo for the cost of 4, which that's pretty much the same there as well. Does have blocker. I kind of wish it had blitz. Even if it had like a you may attack at the end sort of thing. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. Pretty standard. All turns Digimon gets 1000 DP for each color in its distribution cards. I mean, if we're leaning fully towards red, that's only going to be seen at 13. End of your turn, this Digimon unsuspends. It's not really hitting. It's not really like, I'm not blown away. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I thought you might have been helping out a fair bit, but I just don't know. Just don't know about that. How I feel about that one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of cook with the red hybrid. I think Medusamon's pretty much a good spot. I think Gamamon looks kind of interesting there as well. I don't know if it'll take it up like to the next level, the support, but I feel like it's got more Digimon to facilitate or at least set up its overall game plan, which is quite nice. Cross, I'd be doing a disservice if I said this is either good or bad. I've just not got enough experience with the deck, unfortunately. Medusamon, I think it's great, but I think it needs another wave of support before it's like super top tier, like meta defining. But overall, I like the direction it's going in. I just think it needs just another wave. Just another wave. Similar to how like Ghostmon has. I think it just needs another wave. Maybe a few more promos in there as well. Just to really kind of help it set up. I can see Medusmon just being thrown into a Galaxy Toolbox if I'm honest. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think we've covered up the rest. I think the Atmons look really interesting there too. I think this is probably going to be a sleeper. We do have Gaomon, Gaomon is primarily white, so this is the reason why I've actually included Gaomon in here. But obviously, if you wanna see me cover that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like jazz. But I am done. If you enjoyed the video, smash it a like. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. D-Dread off the mic.